Let's get into this Senator Deb Fisher husband and Kamala Harris video. Let's go. He already came in on some shenanigans. Why she gotta explain to you how this go? See? Let me tell you something. Y'all, he look like he finna croak tomorrow. Let me tell y'all something. Okay? The level of poise. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me say, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. See, this why sometimes we think we ready for certain things and we don't realize that we not. First of all, he already came in on some shenanigans. This is a major moment. She's being sworn in. I'm sure y'all talked about this. Okay? So it's like, why did you come in here doing all of that? I'm going to tie this to a couple different things. Y'all, sorry I keep putting on Vaseline. I'm getting over a cold and my lips are so dry. So I'm trying to hydrate them along with drinking lots of water. Let me tell y'all something. He already came in on shenanigans. I'm sure if you have a spouse and you're going to do something major, you're going to be letting them know, hey, I said I was going to fix the lighting in this camera and I didn't. Y'all forgive me, but whatever. You're going to let them know, hey, this is what we're doing. Da-da-da-da. XYZ. Whoop-de-wham. Why do she have to tell you where to come stand? And I love Kamala because I'm telling y'all, people are so quick to say, let me look something up. Like, oh, if that was me, I would do so-and-so, so-and-so. Y'all have to understand the way the mind works. It's so easy to say what you would do until you're in that situation. Of course, you can see Kamala's face was like, ooh, clock it. But you know how embarrassing she could have felt? That's why you got to be secure in yourself, because people will try to play with you. And there's a time and a place. Sometimes it's okay to check a person. And sometimes, and I'm not saying check them to be all rah-rah. Sometimes it's okay to let a person know you're not going to play with me. But then sometimes you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. You could tell from her reaction, she was kind of like, okay. But see, this man embarrassed himself and you embarrassed your wife. I'm not going to go down this other rabbit hole. That's why you got to be careful who you connect yourself to. Y'all, do y'all not know that you could be married to somebody, friends with somebody, have family members, baby, and they will be jealous of you and you don't even know it? They will sabotage you and you don't even know it because you're so caught up on, right, just other things. And plus, the human mind does not want to understand that this is taking place. Why do you want to believe your mother is jealous? Why do you want to believe that your husband or wife is jealous? Why do you want to believe that your friend is trying to sabotage you, right? It could be right in front of you. Like, why would this man take this moment that is clearly about his wife and embarrass her like that? It's like, that's just selfish. And if you knew you was going to do that, then you should have had a conversation with your wife, and maybe that wasn't the best time for you to be there. It's like, it's bigger than, like, we can be just so selfish as human beings. And Madam Vice President, she played it so well. But you know how many of us would have failed that test in public? You know how many of us, she gave a slight like, but you know how many of us would have rolled our eyes and looked nasty? So you could pull a couple of things from this video. Be mindful of who you connected to. Because yes, they will try and sabotage you and you don't even know it. Because my thing is, baby, to be in that black truck when this was over, I want to know what Debster said. Miss Fisher. Is that her name? Yeah. Miss Fisher. What you said to him, baby? I want to know. Was you like, are you serious? Like, how did that conversation go? And another perspective, Dexter could have been off that. I'm sorry, Dexter could have been on that. She could have very well been a part of the whole scheme. He could have said, boo, we finna run the play and we finna embarrass her. And she could have been like, I'm on that. That's why you have to be mindful. Because, see, the enemy is attacking always. And even when the enemy is off doing whatever, people still gonna be human. But she played that role well. She played it off. And I'm sure she was embarrassed. She's human, right? I know y'all got people out there that try to act like don't nothing affect them, don't nothing bother them, da-da-da-da. Okay, well, whether you tell people publicly or privately, it bothers you. You're human. It's a human reaction. But her poise and the way that she handled it and the way that she kept it I was like, you know what? I try to learn stuff from anything. So, y'all, when we be doing these videos, we going to be doing all type of little videos because I am a psychology mind, meaning I love the way humans think. I love to dissect that, right? So, this right here blew me. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I wonder. And then I started thinking about, you know what, Jennifer, you've been embarrassed publicly before. Y'all, let me tell y'all this one story. Baby, but I was on a million. So, I was at this church. And I was at this church. People was hating and jealous of me, whatever. I used to stay to myself, so I didn't even understand why people used to feel some type of way. I was working the altar. And the particular gentleman was bending over and his chonies was showing. So I went to pull his shirt down. And one of the mothers of the church, which, first of all, with all due respect, her attitude was foul and nasty. And little did she know she was being talked about behind the scenes. That's neither here nor there. I went to pull his shirt down just like this. There was no other man around. And the chonies were like super obvious. They were obvious. It was obvious they were showing. This woman slapped my hand down. And then she pulled the shirt down. Y'all want to know what I did? Nothing. Y'all want to know what I did after church? Nothing. Y'all know what I said to her after the fact? Nothing. When I tell you I was on a million, and the level of ignorance people have, I'm like, bro, people do not know. I can't speak for other people. I just know me and who I used to be. People do not know the level of spared. See, here's what I don't like about people. When they do something and then you know what I'm saying, one up, we saved now. But when you one up, they like, oh, I can't believe. Do y'all not know what I could have done to embarrass that lady? But it was something in that moment that got a hold of me. And she actually looked stupid. And she got roasted about it after the fact. But I'm just like, people are just ignorant. And see, let me help y'all. Don't think that when people try to attack you or the enemy try to attack you, don't always feel bad for not responding right away. See, because the enemy will try to play on you like, why would you let them do that? And, oh, da-da-da-da, you weak. You should have did this. I be saying, y'all better thank God. I know God, baby. Because the level of fury I can unleash. So anyways, I got in the car. I called my mom, called my sister, told them what happened. Baby, my sister was so on 10. To the point where I had to save the lady. Because one thing about Jessica Monique Crawley, baby, she will come and roast you a year later. Like, oh, you remember back in 2022 where you tried to do whoop-de-wham and swoop-de my sister? Yeah, we didn't forget. She like that. Okay? So I was like, no, don't. To the point where I'm like, when they came in town, I'm like, we will not be attending church. They like, why not? I'm like, no. Like, so, people just do stuff and sometimes you can feel bad. Like, I should have just did this because you want to try to vindicate yourself. You want to try to, you fighting with your flesh of like, I can't believe they did that. They embarrassed me. I should have done da-da-da. And sometimes you can get frozen in the moment. People don't believe that. People see things and be like, oh my goodness, if that was me, I would have did whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I did the reaction video to the young lady in the situation that happened at the church. If you didn't see it, go back and see it. But it's easy to say, oh, if I was in that church, I would have did this and this and that. Not if you really have the Holy Ghost. Not if you really feel convicted by the Lord. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there are not times where you're going to have to stand up in boldness and tell people they're not going to play with you. But it's easy when you're on the outside looking in, you have a second to watch or you have a second to process. Then you'll say, I would have done boom, 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 boom. But it's been a couple of times where somebody has tried to publicly embarrass me and I didn't react. Now, I do have a list of people that when I see you outside of XYZ, I'm not going to say what it is, you getting slapped. I'm kidding. Or am I? But, so I just like this little video. I was like, let me talk about this. I'm like, people will try you. Why would he try this lady like that? Oh, and let this be a lesson. People don't care who you are. If Madam Vice President is going to get played with, baby, who you think you are? You definitely going to get played with. Have you ever had a supervisor play with you, a coworker play with you, a family member play with you, and you know in your mind without a shadow of a doubt, like, baby, if I was to clock it, it would have been clocked, okay? Clocked. Y'all, I've been in a fight where I've chosen to back down or not go as hard. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you not know that I can really dismantle you with these hands? Do you not know my level of anger, Pookie? But I had to be like, you got it. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, but I'm sure, other people be thinking that too. Like, you don't really know me. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I know you or don't know you. My mind is already calculated and thinking about certain things. You don't know me. That's why I try to avoid stuff. But I thought this video was so interesting because the way that she handled the situation, I'm sure she felt really embarrassed by it. I would like to assume that the wife felt embarrassed. And he's standing there looking like if he coughed wrong, he finna go 6 feet under. And it's just like, why is you this old being this hateful? Life is too short. What are you mad about? I don't want to say it's a race thing. It's a woman thing. I don't know what it is, but baby, to be a fly on the wall, in his little noggin. Like, what you got going on, sir? And don't try to play stupid like you didn't know. You knew exactly what you was doing. You saw this woman put her hand out. She was looking for she wasn't even trying to, you know what I'm saying? She was just looking for it's a respect thing. This goes to show you, people will play with you all day, every day. This video blew me. Her face was like, let me see if I can go back and let me see. She was like, okay, Pooh. Look, she's being nice, cordial. He walks in, she's saying hi. She already looked like she catching the vibe of like, what are you finna be on? Oh, it says it's unavailable. I don't know why I said the video was unavailable. But she kept it cutesy. So, what am I saying? Don't let people play with you. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I was just like, But no, you can't let people play with you. You do not have to be afraid to stand up for something. Y'all, I was in this situation. I'm not going to give the deets, okay? I was in this particular situation and, back in the day, there used to be a fear with certain things, right? Back in the day. Baby, but you got to know the times we in. Certain times we in let you know certain things is not to be played with. And I remember back in the day, I'm going to just give an example. Back in the day when things used to happen at work, right? You used to kind of feel like, oh, I can't say anything. It's the boss. It's the supervisor. It's the team lead. Da, 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 da. Play with me today. Y'all, I remember back in the day, I don't care if I was dead dog sick, not because I wanted to contaminate other people, but I could be dead dog sick and I would keep my distance but still go to work because I felt as though y'all, excuse me. I felt as though I got to go to work because I got to make money because if I don't make money, da, 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 right? I was stressing about money I didn't always have. So it was like I could never afford to miss work. Baby, let me get a little tickle. I'm not coming in. Now, mind you, my work ethic is what my work ethic is. I'm a very hard worker. I pretty much don't take off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless I have to. I'm not just willy-nillying out here. Like, I definitely take my career seriously. But I just remember being so like, I can't. Oh, my body hurting. I remember being in my office, closing the door, and just on the desk, knocked. Because I was just so sick. And I was super cool with my boss. So I would be like, I am not feeling good. I'm going to rest on my lunch break. Because I just felt like, right, my faith wasn't as strong. I was more nervous about provision. But now we in a new day and age, baby, people are walking off on jobs in the middle of shifts. You understand? Like, people, it is different now. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because the workforce has beat up on employees long enough. And now employees are kind of taking back their worth. Like, no. Y'all used to make people be so afraid, like, we could replace you. Now we like, baby, we gonna help you replace us. Toodaloo. No, I'm not giving you a 2 weeks notice. You don't give me a 2 weeks notice when you get ready to fire me. And I'm not saying those approaches are 100% right, but what I am saying is there's power in understanding your value, understanding that it's okay to take care of yourself. Now you see more than ever, mental health day, mental health day, mental health day. Before, back in the day, they didn't used to say stuff like that. Now, to whom it may concern, this has been too stressful. And I will be taking a leave of absence, period. Get somebody else to do it. Because, see, these jobs will work you to the bone and not show any type of appreciation. So now people like, look, I'm not finna take this work abuse. You're not finna work me for 40. You're not finna work me for 50 hours and only pay me for 40. Now you see they trying to change it. Right? Which I hope they do. Where if you are a salary employee or celery, if you a salary employee and you doing overtime, it's like, what? Y'all gonna have to pay me. Y'all tripping. But see, these big companies, baby, let me tell you something. They are for themselves. Not all companies, but you better peep game. So I remember back in the day, there would be a lot of things that I would not address, that I would let slide. I remember at this other job, this director tried to come for me in front of everybody. Let's do it. And when I'm done, I'm finna file EEOC. And y'all know what was so crazy about the whole situation? She was so jealous of me just to tell me before she left, I admire you. You were just like me. Then I had to sit in your office and prophesy. And you didn't even know I was prophesying to you because your daddy was dying. But I bet you want to go play with me again in front of everybody. See, people are trying to bully you. That workplace bullying is so real. From milieu staff to management to CEOs, that stuff is real. HR. And people get afraid to speak up. You get afraid to say something. You get afraid to report certain things. But baby, guess what? One thing about it, two things for certain, and three things for sure. I'm never going to give you an opportunity to play with me. Because I have to be able to trust God. And see, just going back from a religious perspective, religion has taught us, don't say nothing, just be quiet, da 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 da. And I'm like, especially if I didn't bring the fight. No, I'm going to handle things with respect, but you will not play with me. So I thought that video was so interesting. I was like, what do people be, what do people be on? It just goes to show you that people just do not care sometimes. They don't care about you. They don't care about your position. Like I said, if the Madam Vice President, if somebody was going to play with her publicly with all of those cameras there, don't you think you exempt? You just better be ready for war. Let your gift of discernment be at an all-time high. I was praying about that. I'm like, God, let me sense things before it happens. Let me see things before it happens. God, give me an open vision. Give me a dream. Whatever you got to do, let something hit my spirit. I'm not going to be caught off guard in 2025. I'm not going to keep dealing with certain people knowing that you have the same behavior and pattern and allowing it to continue to affect me the same way. No, it's no longer your issue or your fault anymore. I need to change myself because what I got going on that I keep falling for this. So you have to be able to understand what is the pattern that the enemy uses. What is the same things that he tries to use to play with your mind, to play with your emotions, to make you doubt God, to make you feel like it's never going to be your turn, to make you feel like it's never going to be you. It's never your time. You're never going to get married. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to have a nice financial cushion to where you can breathe. You'll never be able to travel. You'll never be able to have your joy, your peace. Your mind will never be stable. You'll be full of anxiety. No. Start peeping game. That's why I love chess. I like checkers, but I love chess. Because in chess, you can't just play for you. You have to be thinking about the other player. And then not only do you have to be thinking about what the other player is going to do, each piece on the board can do something different. So you have to be thinking ahead of the game. Hear me by the Holy Ghost. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with crying, but you shouldn't be crying as long as you have been, or as many days that you have, over the same thing. Start to recognize the things that the enemy uses against you, people, situations, your mind, the way you process, how you speak, how you carry yourself, who's in your life, who's not in your life, what are your fears. Pay attention to what he tries to use against you. Don't be paranoid, but gain the wisdom and the knowledge that you need to say, wait a minute, because the situation is still going to happen. The weapon is going to form, but it's not going to prosper. So let that weapon start to form. And you say, oh, wait a minute. Find yourself being a few hours in, 24 hours in, 48 hours in, 72 hours in, where that thing hits you. Don't be so delayed 2 and 3 weeks later by the same ploy, by the same attack. Start to say, oh, wait a minute. And I'm not saying premeditate or just be so paranoid to where you just can't even function and live life and breathe and be at peace. But right when you say, oh, I know what this is. Oh, I know what that attack is. Oh, I remember just 3 months ago, you tried to, I remember when you said this before. I know exactly why you said that, because you want me to feel like da-da-da-da. On to you. So before, that used to make me cry, doubt, question, break down. No. I know what you're trying to do. I always use this example. The military prepares you. It puts you in the worst case scenario so that when it actually happens, you're prepared. So we have to be prepared to fight spiritually. We got to be prepared to fight these spiritual battles and this spiritual warfare. We can't keep going into situations unprepared, broken down, mind gone, crying all day, can't get out the bed, but you might be getting out the bed, but, barely making it through the day. No, you better see what the enemy trying to do. Just like that man tried to play with Madam Vice President, stop letting the devil play with you. Stop letting the devil think that God won't back you. Stop letting the devil think that God won't rescue you. Stop letting the devil make you think that God won't hear your prayers. Stop letting the devil make you think God won't vindicate you. Stop letting the devil play with you right in your face, in public, in private, to embarrass you, to shame you, to make you go back and say, God, are you sure? God, why would you allow? His promises are still yes and amen. Just like this man tried to play with her. She kept her poise. She didn't break down. She didn't cry. The world is watching, per se. And even if the world not watching you, stop letting the devil play in your face. It's the trick of the enemy to break you down, to make you doubt, to make you question, to make you be at fear. Why? So you can't reach destiny. So you can't reach your goals and your dreams. So you can't manifest the things that you've prayed about and cried over. And you can't manifest the things you believe in God for. Stop letting the devil play with you. She reached out to shake that man's hand and he tried to play with her. And guess what? He said, okay. So instead of you breaking down and crying and letting the devil beat you up and kick you all around the house, the next time he try to play with you, you go, okay. And you already know, little do he know, God is backing me. You hear me? Stop letting the devil play with you. He's going to come in the form of people, situations, and circumstances, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and spiritually. The next time he play with you, give him one of these.